Oh, hello. Rob Marshall here, UAT. I am the Student Transition Advisor here at University of Advancing Technology. If anyone has any questions, concerns in regards to application, acceptance, enrollment, or attendance, I am pretty well versed in all things. Not to mention the fact I do assist and support our incoming graduate community at the master's level and our international students as well. So if anything is on your mind, please by all means reach out to me. First question, is assembly part of the program, part of programming one? Hello, Tyler. Got your first question in regards to assembly. Yeah, actually, as far as our Advanced Computer Science program of study, we have quite a few Bachelors of Science that relate to assembly languages. Within our Bachelors of Science, along with the kind of a traditional Advanced Computer Science program of study, we also have the Artificial Life Programming track, Digital Maker and Fabrication, which obviously focuses in on a lot of the logistics of programming as well. Enterprise Software Development, game programming, and also human-computer interaction, which obviously focuses on a lot of algorithmic art. And then we have our information assurance suites, such as network engineering, network security. Robotics and embedded systems is another Bachelor of Science here at UAT, and does definitely maneuver through a lot of the assembly languages, etc. I hope that helps, but please let me know if there's any other questions that come up in regards to that. And do know as well that the new 1315 UAT catalog is available at the public site at uat.edu if you'd like to review a little bit more regarding our Bachelors of Science programs. And you can find out everything from the degree-specific classes that are associative with the programs, along with the general education required classes, and then the core classes here at UAT. Tyler, I hope that answers your question, but please let me know if there's anything else I might be able to elaborate on for you. It just, if there is, oh, Tyler, you are there. Classes of science are there. If from the general education components, Tyler, if you're looking at obtaining a Bachelor's of Science with UAT, we have kind of a bit more overarching parameters for what needs to be fulfilled within math and science and within humanities and social sciences. So if you were to do a Bachelor's of Science with us at UAT, and most of our programming degrees do entail a Bachelor's of Science, you would be looking at a minimum of 36 credits required within your general education, minimum 12 12 credits towards your humanities, and that would entail Composition 1 or English 101, English 102, a communications or technology communication class. With your mathematics and sciences, you have kind of parameters of minimum of 18 credits that will be fulfilled there. Minimum of 3 upper division or advanced exposure classes of those 18. And so it allows students to kind of fulfill either within math and or science. So for those students that maybe aren't and don't have such a penchant for math, they can fulfill within science, but they must temper that, realizing that their program of study might have some very solid and foundational mathematics requirements in order to really maintain success within that program. And so very often there are recommended general education science classes that are in place there, and you'll see that listed in the catalog as well. Hello, Kimberly. Thanks for jumping on. I got your question in regards to the most popular major at UAT. You know what? That's kind of up in the air. I know that a lot of our students come to UAT for our gaming suite of programs, but we're also very well known for our information assurance suite of degrees at the bachelor's level, namely network security. UAT is a center of academic excellence with the National Security Agency. And with that said, and really being one of only just over 100 schools across the United States that affords us to ensure that all of our network security courseware is fully recommended, certified through the InfoSec standards that are put forth by the NSA. We are seeing a lot of resurgence of interest in our new digital maker and fabrication program as well. That is something that's certainly on the horizon line as far as a burgeoning career and what's out there as far as tech. So again, if you wanted any further information on that, uat.edu, clicking on the Advancing Technology Degrees link at the top will give you a full breakdown and subpages for all of the different programs of study. And so hopefully that answers your question, but please let me know if there's anything else I could possibly review further. And Tyler, I hope that it addressed your question well enough. I know you had asked a little bit further regarding biology. We do move through biology and astronomy classes here at UAT. Physics classes are obviously very important as well. And Kimberly, please let me know if I can elaborate further on anything regarding the degrees or majors here at UAT. Tyler, the same goes for you, my friend. If there's anything I can kind of elaborate on further regarding our general education requirements, I'm at your disposal. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, as far as UAT, we have been around since 1983. We were first founded then, started as a CAD institute, really working as a professional development center with a lot of the large corporations here in the Phoenix area, from Boeing to General Dynamics and Honeywell. That really, over time, allowed us to kind of maneuver and realize we were in a position to be able to create a very unique and a kind of inclusive institution of students that really, really have a penchant for technology. That is certainly the common thread that holds us all together. And with that said, you know, all of our degrees are solely devoted to technology. Just happens to be in a more traditional academic setting where general education requirements are still required for graduation. We have other things that make us quite unique as an institution with mandatory internships, and also the creation of the UAT Student Innovation Project, or what we call the SIP project, something that the students work at over the tenure of their program of study, and it culminates with defense and presentation in their senior year. So it's something that really affords students an opportunity over the tenure of their program to potentially create something that could even be so far as being patented. Hi, Kimberly. Got your message in regards to the digital video and digital media degrees. Yes, UAT actually has a fantastic digital media, digital video program. It's a small community, but very, very powerful. The independent film community here in Phoenix and Arizona, by and large, is very robust. There is a lot of opportunity for our students to work within independent films, but also feature films. Being close to California and following that Hollywood model, a lot of production companies do come out here to film. Part of the stipulations in place is that they do have to hire a certain amount of Arizona crew, and that does give our students an opportunity to kind of work within field, even graduate. The digital media program, probably more of our what would be considered closer to a graphic design program, but more of a 21st century bent to it in many regards. Digital media is definitely for those individuals who maybe would want to work for an advertising or communications company. Along those lines, those are certainly things that would bode well for someone having skill sets or field of study within that. Digital video, we do very well at, even though it is a small community of students. We have had students and alumni that have worked on Game of Thrones and on Avatar as well. And we continually do well within the independent film festivals, the collegiate or intercollegiate film festivals, the 48-hour film challenges, where our students are usually affect that quite easily and are able to receive accolades and awards and even sometimes scholarships for their work. Hopefully that helps, but if there's anything, again, that I can elaborate on further, please let me know. Oh, and as an aside, Kimberly, just be aware, digital video, digital media do have quite a bit of overlap. There's some foundations that are requirements for both those programs of study. You would immediately see that if you looked at the degree-specific courseware in the catalog for both of those programs. So if there was potentially an interest for you to maybe consider doing a multiple degree, these two are really complementary with each other, and so you could invariably fulfill requirements for both programs of study. Typically, we encourage a student to complete one first and then maybe apply for their second program. It depends. When they're quite similar, there's an opportunity for them to take additional courseware for their secondary major or degree to allow them to be a bit more efficient in going through the program of study. Now, UAT does follow a year-round model that is a bit unique to other institutions that follow a more traditional collegiate model of just 2 semesters completed every calendar year. UAT follows the year-round model where 3 semesters are physically completed by our students every calendar year, even though their federal aid and packaging still is every 2 semesters, which is considered an academic year. So we are still a 4-year academic institution, 8 semesters typically for a student to complete their program of study. We just accelerate the teaching, and so that our students are able to complete their degree in as little as 2 years and 8 months. And that can be good sometimes. We are a project-based university as well, and so very often you're working on projects here with other cohorts and colleagues that will span well over the tenure of one semester. And so if you are going to be committed to a program, a project, you want to make sure you're committed there and accountable from beginning to end so that that can be added to your portfolio. You can gain credit for that as well. Gang, any other questions come up or anything for me? Happy to address them. Oh, hi, got this, Tyler. A mandatory internship. What if I were to intern before I attend UAT? Well, there's a bit of flexibility with the internships, Tyler. Yes, there are sometimes instances where an internship can be transferable if it's very related or similar to the program of study and what the objectives would be for the internship you would be taking here, as per the program that you're interested in. In your case, I think it's something along the lines of a Bachelor of Science, Advanced Computer Science, let's say. So if there was an internship under your belt that was relatable to that, chances are we would be able to apply that as transferable credits. Sometimes that's not always to the best benefit of the student, because we do hope that the internship is an opportunity for you to kind of cut your teeth within industry, come back into the UAT community and apply what you learned within industry towards your studies. We also hope that that can potentially turn into an opportunity for gainful employment upon when you graduate. Usually the sweet spot for an internship for our students is the junior year. That's their 5th semester at UAT. They're usually highly contributing at that point. They're past their foundational and conceptual classes. They're really into skill sets at that point. And so they're usually able to bring a lot to the table with what an employer would want to look at. Going well past theory and being a project-based university, typically we find that our students are again, worthy contributors within a work environment within junior year. You have flexibility with the credits that you use as well. You could do a small 3-credit internship or a 6-credit or a 9-credit or even a 12-credit internship. For example, a 12-credit internship would be a full-time job for a semester. That would basically probably have you completely solely focused on your internship for that term. You may want to supplement to go to 15 credits by taking an additional online class, though, to maintain 15 credits, which is typically recommended per semester. But again, there are prerogatives there for you on that front. We do have career services here and student affairs. They assist our students with selecting and identifying internships, but also applying and securing those internships. Hopefully that addresses that question for you. Oh, and Tyler, just as an aside, there are a lot of different types and varieties of internships that are available to our students. Some within house, meaning within the UAT campus. There's others that are local, some that are virtual, and I even have internship opportunities in other states for students to basically kind of jump in on. Not most, but the majority of my students do come from out of state. So sometimes, if they head back east, let's say they're from New York or something along those lines, they may be able to complete their internship in New York City and maybe supplement a 12-credit internship with a 3-credit class online to still maintain status here, maintain 15 credits as well. I have had students within the gaming field who have gone to work for Atlantis Cyberspace in Hawaii. Some of the internships are non-paying, others are paying as well. Non-paying internships sometimes are very attractive, though. They can offer sometimes stipends or just accommodations, room and board covered. So again, with our students that did go to Atlantis Cyberspace, they had room and board taken care of. It was a non-paying internship, but they were in Hawaii for a semester, which wasn't so bad. Any other questions coming up, gang? Oh, yeah, actually we do a live action role play here pretty regularly along with cosplay. We have Nerf Wars. Really, again, being a unique institution, we do things a little differently around here, Tyler. Actually, checking out our social media pages at Facebook, that's a really good way to kind of get a visual and a feel for what we do on campus. Again, we're not your traditional university. We really do kind of follow on the lines of what a technophile would appreciate. We're also always looking for students to start up new clubs and groups. Usually at the beginning of a semester, we see a surge of that within student government and people requesting new clubs to be formed. I do know in the past we did have a LARP group or LARP club. I think that might be off the books right now, but if that's always something that you would be able to start up, and definitely have comrades in arms who would be happy to join in on that. Campus life, Kimberly. Yeah, campus life is great. We are a very small urban campus, but we really do pack a punch here. Our Founders Hall Residence Life community was just built in 2007, so a relatively new outfitted campus and university. We have room for expansion as well. Our resident life team always maintains at least about 3 activities per month for our incoming or for our students within residence life. Student government on top of that will often create a lot of different events here on campus. Again, I encourage you to check out our social media pages. You can find out a lot more about kind of what campus life is like here at UAT. We're not a cliquey bunch. We're really the one common thread again that everyone has is that is that passion for technology. And so regardless of where you're from, what city you're from, or small town, big city, I have students represented in all states, international community as well. And the one thing that really brings us together and kind of makes us all gel, I think, is the fact that technology is always first and foremost on everyone's mind. But yeah, campus life itself, we do a lot of fun things. We actually are going to be carting in some snow here pretty soon for snowball fights. We don't see a lot of that here in Phoenix, so it's a nice welcome kind of respite from the heat sometimes, especially considering a lot of our students do come from back east and are used to some pretty cold winters. It's something you just don't see here. And Tyler, sorry you kind of missed information regarding the internships. Just know if ever you contacted into the school, me, any of my colleagues here in the admissions department would be more than happy to explain or elaborate further on the graduation requirements for our Bachelor's of Science students, okay? Oh, and as an aside too, Kimberly, I don't know if you've been to uat.edu, but there's some really good visuals there as well, if you don't want to go right into the social media sites. There's a campus life link right there at the top bar. It'll take you through kind of what student housing is like and what student services are offered here. But also just seeing the UAT campus, there's some virtual tours and a campus gallery as well, so you can just kind of see what we look like. And also, you know, consider always coming out for a tour if you're looking for colleges. We always love having our students come to campus. It's usually pretty visible for our students. It's usually a good kind of hinge pin for them to allow them to realize that this might be the right place for them. Again, we are a very unique institution, and again, usually once a student is here and on campus, they know pretty quickly whether this is the place for them or if they need to look elsewhere. Always encourage students to look at more than one school. Although I have a lot of students that just solely have their mind on coming to UAT, but I always encourage comparison, if only to reinforce for yourself that you're definitely finding the right school for you. And Kimberly and Tyler, I'm not sure if you guys are high school seniors right now, if you're already looking and exploring colleges. Do know that UAT can conditionally accept students even in their junior years. Will of course conditionally accept you and wait your final official transcript to arrive on file, but it allows you to kind of more in advance be able to be prepped for your studies even before you're in your senior year at high school, giving you a little bit of an advantage on being prepped and ready for everything. As me as a student transition advisor who assists and supports all of our accepted students, I'm able to provide that much more information regarding resources and scholarships that much sooner to hopefully aid in having you even that much more successful and prepared for your college life. Yes, in regards to network security, curricula itself, it is certified again by the U.S. National Security Agency's Information Assurance Courseware Evaluation Program. What that really means is through the National Training Standard for Information Systems Security, or what we call InfoSec standards for professionals, all of our courseware has been vetted so that students that do go through the network security program of study really are well versed in being able to move into the big three-letter organizations such as the NSA or the Department of Defense, CIA, FBI. Hopefully that answers your question there. Yeah, as far as programs of study, there's over 20 undergraduate degrees here at UAT. I also have 5 graduate technology programs of study as well, and then UAT Online for those students that would prefer to affect their studies basically at home and not come to campus. So that is definitely something that is available. Not all of the online programs are translatable as per the on-campus programs, but our graduate programs are fully deliverable either on campus or online, depending on where you are. The thing UAT is usually quite good at is quality control when it comes to being a school solely devoted with technology degrees. We have to be very diligent in ensuring that our programs of study, the curricula therein, are really in alignment with what industry is using. And as things adjust, that we have that on our horizon lines to make the adjustments in tandem with the tech industry itself, so that our students are really remaining ahead of the fray of technology as best as possible. That's another reason why the year-round model at UAT is so helpful. It really does allow our students to get out into the workforce a good year in advance with their skill sets intact before a student going to a more traditional state school. And that can be a real benefit in this day and age, especially considering the amount of technology positions that are out there and on the horizon line that need to be filled just over the next couple of years. Any other questions from anyone, gang? Happy to address. Hi, I believe I have Nicole and I have Clarence there as well. Welcome into my window, gang. If anyone has any questions, again, please, by all means, reach out to me. I'm happy to address anything that might be on your mind. So Clarence, just know if you guys have any questions in regards to UAT that we don't touch on now, or something that might come up after the fact, I just ask that you reach out to UAT at our toll-free number at 800-658-5744. At that point, you could speak with any one of my admissions advisors. They'd be able to enlighten you on anything, even setting up an admissions interview with you prior to you applying, just to give you some insight further into UAT and what we're about. So by all means, always feel free to kind of act upon that. Really, at this stage, we are looking at our incoming summer semester, but I do have my fall term as well, which is our kind of our traditional start. Hi, Zakira. We're actually located in the greater Phoenix area in College Town. It's known as Tempe. Really, Phoenix itself is kind of a sprawling megalopolis at this point. So Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport is about 20 minutes away from campus here. Tempe, again, is considered College Town. We have a lot of private and state colleges and universities located in this area, and a lot of college students and university students also living here in the Tempe area. A very good place, young, youthful community, and a lot to do around here as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Oh, my pleasure, Zakira. Tyler, snow in Tempe? You got to go a little bit farther for some snow, but only a little bit up north. Let's see. Snow in Tempe. I lived in Gilbert a while back. Oh, good questions, Tyler. Yeah, actually, UAT is pretty cool. We're a 24/7 campus, so we're open all the time. Classes run from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Usually my undergraduate suite of courses runs in the morning, afternoons. Graduate classes typically start in the evenings, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Usually our students are able to create a pretty flexible schedule for themselves, as we have what is known as rolling registration. So once you're into the semester, about 9 weeks into that term, you are going to start registering for your next subsequent semester. So it gives you a lot of opportunity to create a good tight schedule for yourself. A lot of our students are able to fulfill and put in all of their classes within a 4-day school week, maybe taking off a Monday or a Friday so that they have a 3-day weekend. It really contingent. The later you kind of get into getting registered, sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to create that kind of a schedule, but for the most part, our students are very satisfied with that. Usually classes run for just an hour twice weekly, so you'll always have 2 instances where you'll meet. And then there's always you meeting outside of the classroom as far as for your study and contact hours. A good 20 to 30 hours per week is always a good given outside of the classroom setting for you to be focused on your studies and assignments, etc. So yeah, basically just know you've got a lot of flexibility there. You could invariably have everything extended out. I know some students that like to have good sizable breaks in between their classes that keeps them here on campus and gets their homework done in between courses, so when they finish for the day they can kind of just leave and enjoy themselves. So really it depends on your study habits and what you're looking at, but we are usually able to accommodate all of our students given kind of what they like. If they like to sleep in and take classes a little later. I'm actually always amazed at how busy this place is well into the evening. Actually, even looking at the webcams that are on the public site at uat.edu, if you were to kind of spy in there in the middle of the night, you'd see that the campus and the commons area is usually filled with a lot of students working on projects. Hi, Nicole. Got your message in regards to what clubs we have available. Yeah, currently right now what I have listed, and typically the summer semester is a lighter one for us, and so a lot of the clubs kind of go into hibernation until the fall. And so we basically update our list for student clubs on the UAT intranet based off that information. Right now, if I were to look and see what we've got active right now, let me just see, clubs and groups. I have the Academy, which is a drawing and animation club. I have the Academic Paranormal Society, a very popular club here. They actually do legitimate work in throughout the Arizona area, kind of dispelling myths, ghost stories, etc. We have our fencing club, our Japanese club, UAT, which is kind of a tea enjoyment club, the animation club, our, of course, anime and manga club, comic book club. We have the Guild as well. The Guild is really, there again is basically about board games. It's focusing in on more of the traditional board games and looking more at kind of the old gaming kind of techniques that are out there. We have our paintball club. We have the Unity club too, because we do very much embrace diversity here at UAT. And then finally the Minecraft club. I usually see that double by the fall term, though. We always have a few more that come down the pike, and a lot of students that want to put in proposals for their own student clubs to be created. You can always fill out a new club form application and submit that to student government at any time. You are not required to join a club, Tyler. Good question. Although we always encourage our students to get involved outside of the classroom, that's usually what makes your college experience so enjoyable. But no, that's not something that's mandatory for you, my friend. Nicole, you're very welcome. Happy to address that. If anything else comes up, gang, please let me know. Ooh, able to change your schedules during the semester? No, my friend, you are not. You have drop add week in the very first week of every semester. So that's the point in time where you're going to be able to be poised to make any adjustments to your schedule as it stands. At that point, if you were to withdraw from classes, it will show as a W on your transcript. So really, if anything, if you think that you're going through a semester and you're not sure if you're doing well in a class, sometimes it's of benefit to the student to withdraw from that course, maybe take it in the next subsequent semester to ensure that they're devoting all their time and energy and hopefully maintaining their college GPA at the same time as well. And again, keep in mind, Tyler, we do have rolling registration, and so you would be, about 2 months into your semester, whereupon you would be able to be getting registered for your next subsequent semester. Through our student affairs team, they're able to map out the proper classes that you would be taking, obviously with the proviso that you're going to be maintaining a 2.0 or a C or greater in the classes that you're currently in. And again, keep in mind, UAT offers a flat rate tuition as well, gang. So you have the ability to take full-time status only. You can take anywhere from 12 credits up to 18 credits a semester. And so that's going to translate to anywhere from 4, 5, or 6 classes that you'll take per term. Tyler, you said you lived in Gilbert a while back. Do you still have family here in the greater Phoenix area? That's always good. At least you can get a nice homemade family meal here and there. Do know too, Tyler, although we have mandatory housing for our out-of-state students, there is an opportunity to file an application for independent housing if you do have opportunity to reside with family while you attend UAT. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Pardon me. Oh, thanks, Tyler. Let me just read this real quick, buddy. How many classes do we need to go to per day? Yeah, actually, classes are going to run 5 days of the week, Tyler, so Monday through Friday. I find a lot, and the majority of my general education classes will run on Fridays, usually a bit lighter. We see more of the degree-specific classes running up through Monday through Thursday. Again, it really depends on kind of how things are laid out. Usually we have more than one offering for a class. So, maybe one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So it's really just building your schedule up in such a way, and we can usually tweak that in such a way, for example, if you did want to only be on campus for 4 out of the 5 days of the week, usually we can accommodate students with that. It's always, the best advantage is always being first in line when registration opens to get yourself scheduled for your classes. But yeah, you're going to be in either 4, 5, or 6 classes that'll meet twice a week typically. Sometimes, and those are usually on 2 separate days. Some of our classes have a 2-hour block class that meets once a week. Those are typically typically rare though. Usually we like to break it up a little bit more. So if you think about that, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So what, maybe 10 to 12 hours within the classroom setting on top of your 20 to 30 hours of study time outside of the classroom. Hopefully that helps. Oh, actually, Tyler, one thing that's really quite nice about UAT is that our faculty to student ratio is typically anywhere from 14 to 1 to 16 to 1, so very small class sizes. You know, we're a pretty intimate campus. We were built for capacity at 2,000. Usually we're at about 1,200 strong, and that's kind of an influx of students coming in throughout the day. So yeah, again, we find that the kind of smaller setting is really more conducive to what our students appreciate and like, and how they like to learn as well. There are a couple of classes that are held in the theater that are a little bit more large-scale setting. For example, our professional skills class and some of our technology-related classes like technology and society and ethics in technology. These are typically high debate classes, and so it's nice to be in a larger group setting, kind of create a bit more of a healthy discourse and dialogue. If any other questions are coming up, gang, I'm ripe and ready, so let me know. You know, one thing I'll let you know too, gang, your parents, families may be wondering about UAT's accreditation. That's obviously something that should be a concern at any school that you're looking at. And it is an important thing, and it does allow recognition of your credits if you're transferring into another college or even maneuvering through into a master's program at some point in the future. So those definitely are things that you need to look at. UAT is actually a member of the North Central Association. We are part of the Ohio Learning Commission. And that is basically through the Department of Education. So that is certainly something that you'd want to pass along to your folks if they weren't really sure about UAT. I know we've been around for 30 years, kind of a blip in time for a lot of other academic schools, but when you factor in the fact we've always been solely devoted to technology, we're very proud of that, and our NCA accreditation status as well. We're one of their youngest schools coming into this. They have a lot more traditional Ivy League schools, part of the NCA umbrella, but NCA is a bit more of a progressive 21st century approach to education, certainly something that UAT embraces as well. And so there's a really nice alignment there. So please do pass that along to your folks. I know that that's often a concern with looking at schools, that you do have that ability to transfer and to move on and continue through higher learning. Something we embrace here as one of our values is lifelong learning. You pretty much have to do that. If you're going to be a technophile in this day and age, you got to run with the fray of technology. You can't really sit back on your laurels for very long without being outdated yourself. So I find that most students, though, that love technology and have a penchant for it, love that into itself as well. They kind of already have it ingrained in them to learn what's on the horizon, what's coming up next, and that's something that they're passionate about. And so, you know, sometimes just learning the tools that are involved in order to be able to kind of run with the technology pack is really all it takes. And usually we do encourage students to run, to really run with that and throughout the tenure of their program, but also once they're in industry. One of the things that UAT does as part of lifelong learning is one of our values, and how we give back to our UAT graduates and alumni is we actually allow students to audit classes for free. Auditing classes allow you to sit in on class, not necessarily be adjudicated or graded for the work, but you're able to at least soak up the knowledge of what's being conveyed within that course. So it's a great way for you to always stay brushed up on your skill sets and what applications and software is being utilized within your industry. It really keeps you kind of, again, ahead of that fray of technology itself. Tyler, good question. Yeah, we don't have any specific scholarships for Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts, although being involved within affiliations or organizations like that definitely bode well when it comes to you applying for scholarships regardless of whether they're at UAT. National and private level scholarships want to know about your community involvement, and so those are things that you definitely want to elaborate on and leverage when it comes time to applying for scholarships. Tyler, one question I had for you, are you currently a high school senior or a high school junior? And the reason I ask is that, you know, even as a junior moving into the new national and private level scholarship cycle, let's see here. Fantastic. Okay, thanks, Tyler. You know, it might behoove you to be at the ready come about fall of this year to be poised and ready to start applying for scholarships on a national private level. Usually the national private level scholarship cycle runs around fall, so let's say September, October, into the next following year until around this time. Usually the tail end of April is when we see scholarship deadlines drop off and those monies kind of disappear until the next scholarship cycle comes into play. So you are definitely just on the cusp of being able to start that process. I always encourage students to do their due diligence and get into the habit of that even in their junior year. That way once they're in senior year, and it's obviously going to be more important that you do apply for scholarships, especially coming to a private school like UAT, although very midline for costs, scholarships definitely do become important for our students. So being in the habit of that while you're still a junior, transitioning into your senior year as a high school, usually at that point you're pretty good at working smarter and not harder, and you're able to generate a lot of high quality scholarship essays and applications, but a lot of quantity too, which is certainly something you can do. UAT suite of scholarships, usually because we have 3 semester start dates per year, we always have to wait for our incoming class to be kind of settled before we start looking towards the next incoming class. So really, again, at about this time next year is when we would be looking at our incoming fall class and what potential awards or receptions they may be receiving based off of our suite of scholarships. Most of our scholarships are not participation-based, Tyler, although I have some for students that are part of FIRST Robotics or VEX scholarship competitions, I should say. We do have a couple of scholarships associated with that. I have programmatic scholarships based off of the degree that the student is taking. I have other scholarships based off of their academic merit, GPAs, ACT, SATs. I have other scholarships based off of the student's original application to the institution as well. And then finally, financial need scholarships once students have filed their free applications for federal student aid, and I'm able to identify what their financial need is as per what we call the student aid report. At that point, I can start sussing out what might be available to an incoming student for not only UAT scholarships, but more importantly, on a national and private level for scholarships. Hopefully that helps, my friend. And I should ask, Tyler, is this your first time inquiring to UAT? Have you considered applying even as a junior? Hello, Joseph Jacoby. Thanks for joining in with us here. Any questions you might have, please let me know. Oh, congratulations, Tyler. That's great. If you've been accepted, that means that you are most likely, let me see here, my friend. Let me get some info for you. Very good. Tyler, are you possibly with your address located in Alabama right now? And I believe you may have acceptance for 2016, or now you're stating maybe even 2017. Yeah, Kirsten Haber is actually one of my colleagues here at UAT, and Kirsten is your student transition advisor. So her, along with myself, really support all of our incoming students for all of our future semesters and also all of our enrolled students. So really, both Kirsten and I are here and well-versed to help you through kind of the next couple of years, maneuvering through everything in hopes that you successfully can join our ranks for the fall term in 2016 or even 2017. Yeah, and I don't know if you've had a chance to do this yet, Kirsten, but I know, Tyler, I know that Kirsten would be more than happy to arrange a phone meeting with you when the time is right, with you and your family, really, just to outline more of a plan of attack for you. Hello, Marcelo. Yes, Marcelo, we actually have a robotics and embedded systems degree here at UAT. So intern, yes, robotics classes are definitely in place. We also have the digital maker and fabrication degree. So there's some kind of nice overlays there. But definitely review through our catalog, or you can go right to uat.edu. And actually once there, if you look at the Advancing Computer Science degrees, you will actually be able to click right on the robotics and embedded systems program there, and it'll give you a full degree summary and rundown of the classes that you'll be taking. The robotics and embedded systems program is really for those individuals that love programming but also are tinkerers and like to kind of pull things apart. But you definitely are going to have a solid programming background, but you're going to be moving through a lot of robotics classes, from embedded programming to machine learning, robotics project classes. We'll be taking you through compilers, competitive robotics, assembly, really a lot of different stuff, autonomous aerial vehicles. There are classes on mechatronics, introduction to microcontrollers when you first start into the program. So really kind of a little bit for everything there. We always tell our students as you're going through the program, you're always ultimately and firstly going to gain a good breadth of knowledge, but from there you'll then gain a depth of knowledge as you start understanding where your talents lie, and from there where you want to start specializing and learning things a little bit more deeper. And that's always good. And so once you're in that type of program, you quickly will be able to, well, usually by no later than your junior year, your fourth or fifth semester, you're going to really know if you're on the right track and where it is that you really want to affect things further as you start specializing as you move through your tenure of your program and into ultimately your senior years. But please let me know if you have any other questions surrounding that, though, my friend. Happy to address those. Let's see here. Yeah, we've got pretty much every kind of gear you can imagine here, Tyler. We do have kind of entertainment consoles set up so students can have fun, but then, yeah, really everything is kind of interspersed in throughout the school. If Kirsten's going to give you info tomorrow, I'll let her know you and I were chatting today and make sure she follows up with you too. So let me do this. So I will let Kirsten know that you and I were chatting today on College Week Live, and I'll ensure that she follows up with you tomorrow too. But yeah, you know what, the virtual, the webcams, et cetera, at uat.edu would be a good place for you to check out, because you can kind of get some good visuals as to what's going on in the campus here and what it looks like. We've got a few set up within the campus cafe. Then the commons area itself is a pretty large environment. A lot of stuff's able for checkout of the library too. As far as libraries go, ours is pretty unique and definitely geared for a technophile. We've got pretty much every game title you could ever imagine in there. Being that we have such a strong film and digital video community too, we've got all kinds of great, fantastic films, and pretty much all the technology publications you can imagine, magazines, etc. So really, there's really a lot there. And again, for a small school like UAT, we really do kind of put a lot into this. We even switch out 1/3 to 2/3 of all technology on campus here year after year, really, so we are always ensuring that our students are working on as closely in proximity with what industry is using. And that is something we definitely are very proud of, putting our kind of money where our mouth is. If we're going to call ourselves the University of Advancing Technology, we better make sure that we're doing that. And that's something I've seen consistently over the years, that we're able to always give back into the campus and to the students. Gang, I'm just coming up to the tail end of my hour here with everyone and chatting. So if there's any other questions that anyone has, Kimberly, Tyler, please let me know. Happy to address these, but know that we're always a phone call or an email away. And anyone here, as far as the admissions advisor, would be more than happy to help you and maneuver through your college decision, whether to apply, or if you've been accepted, like in your case, Tyler, moving you and helping you through the enrollment process if it looks like we're a good match for you. I know you're looking for quite a bit in advance as to when you finally would attend UAT, but just know that even now we're always available to you. I'll see if Kirsten can pop over and wave behind me so you can see her. Here, Tyler. Here's Kirsten. Tyler was hoping you could reach out to him tomorrow. He's an accepted student that's with you. So fantastic. That's a done deal. I just handed off the note for you there. Tyler says hi back, Kirsten. She says hi again. So that's great. Now you can put a name to the face, so that's good. Folks, any other questions, concerns coming up, anything I might be able to help with before I sign off with you? I got about 5 minutes here. We're doing okay so far? Okay, just know if anyone ever does have questions or concerns, you're always, always welcome to email me. You can reach me at rmarshall, and that is RMARSHALL @uat.edu. And I would be more than happy to address any questions, concerns that anyone would have, or even your family for that matter. This can be a very large decision to make for obvious reasons, and so making sure you're asking all those questions and from every angle is always an important step. And sometimes students have different questions than parents do, so just know that we're always all here to help you through that. Kimberly, are you still there? I'm not sure if you are. I see you online, but just wanted to let you know I wasn't sure if you had applied to the institution yet and whether you were a junior or a senior at this juncture. But again, if there's ever any questions that you have surrounding application, please let us know. We're happy to help. And Tyler, I'm really glad I had a chance to chat even through this format. But Kirsten is going to follow with you tomorrow. And I know with being quite late in the, or well to the future, even if you were to start at college or something like that, we can even help aid with you in trying to help you select classes. Okay. Final question, how expensive is the food at UAT? Okay, good question actually. I've got a few options for you, Tyler. The Campus Cafe offers up something firstly called the Bite Bucks card, which is a preloaded $250 debit card that you can actually even preload in increments of $100 after that. So that's the first thing you can use within the Campus Cafe. Secondarily, we've got a 3-tier meal plan. I have an unlimited plan for our students. That works out to be about $19.50 per semester. I have a 15 meal per week per semester plan. And then finally, I've got a 10 meal per week per semester plan. And so that's really what the options are for food. The 10 meal per week per semester plan works out to be about $1,600 a semester. That's 15 weeks or 4 months. So pretty reasonable as far as cost for food. I do have a lot of students that love to use the meal plan, but also like to prepare their own meals. And so sometimes they go for a little bit more of a lower denomination, do the 10 meal per week, or they'll just do the Bite Bucks cards and in turn purchase their own meals, because we do have Fry's grocery store right across the street. I know it can seem that the prices are a little bit expensive, Tyler, but actually quite reasonable for the cost for food. And the thing that's nice too is that you have everything. You could go through and grab soup. You could go through the salad bar. You can go through the hotline. You can grab a couple of slices of pizza as well. And also we have a sandwich bar too. So I mean, you can kind of really fill your boots, so to speak, and make sure that we always have you with a full belly as you maneuver out of the lunch line or the dinner line at UAT Campus Cafe. So hopefully that helps, okay? Hi, let's see here. Oh, my pleasure, Tyler. It was nice chatting with you. Yeah, I hope to see you on campus at some point in the future. I just know both Kirsten and I are always here and at the ready to help you with any questions, concerns you have, okay? All right. With that said, I'm coming to a close on things. So, Tyler, again, take care. Pleasure assisting you. Do anticipate contact from Kirsten Haber shortly. And all the best to everyone. Thanks so much.